Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Shapless Media, happy birthday to you. So 13 years, it's been 13 years. How long have I known you out of all of that time?
I met you in March 2017, so that's getting on to 9 years, getting close to, isn't it?
Is it etched in your brain, that date?
It is, yes.
I love how you say March. I have no idea when it was. I don't even know the year.
Because we always, well, not always, but we mentioned it now and again. I was like, oh, it was March. I remember it being March.
Yeah. Was I in the box?
Yes, Kirkstall Road box.
I call it the box.
That was like the shared meeting room area.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because it's almost like, for me, that it almost feels like two chapters, because that office, you know, we're dating all the way back, because the business was sort of set up in my attic bedroom to begin with. So we probably spent 2 years in the attic, and then I hired Ellie. So she was definitely kind of one of my top moments, I would say, like probably, if not the first one, because that was sort of establishing that time point where it's like, this isn't me anymore. There's someone else, formally, officially, you know, permanently. And that's the kind of first big milestone, I would say, other than setting up the business in the first place. Well,
so if you first staff Ellie, I actually don't know this. Like, how did you find her or recruit her?
She was a student at the university, and I think I'd put out something in a forum, and she came forward, and I'd sort of spent time chatting with her, and yeah, I just thought she was a good fit, and I kind of needed someone to help, you know, initially kind of build all the marketing side, because I was like, how am I going to get more business? I need to do marketing to kind of get the message out there. So that was kind of one of the first big evolutions. And then, yeah, the little box office, which was quite cute. Did you actually even come in there? Did you have a look?
On that day I met you, you showed me briefly in there for like a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Have a look inside. There's 2 desks, that's it.
Yes.
It's very small. It was literally just a square with quite a nice skylight, but that was literally it. And I think, you know, they're kind of good having those offices, because it's about getting out of your bedroom, going somewhere a bit more professional if you need a meeting. So yeah. Yeah. All those many moons ago, and you've survived all this time.
Yes.
So what are your highlights then? Because obviously we've probably got different ones. I've got some from like the earlier stages. You've probably got some from like the last 8-9 years. What are your top 3 things that stand out, kind of big milestones, do you think?
Projects that stand out the most are kind of 2 things. First one is anything that we've done with actors, particularly in health and safety, like recreating accidents, that sort of thing. That's always a highlight. In particular, it's usually a couple of days filming, so the cast and crew end up kind of staying in like an Airbnb, and there's some real great camaraderie in that. Everyone's helps make breakfast, shoots together in the evening, make a meal, and then kind of hang out. So that's always really good. And the other thing is the trips abroad. They're always very memorable. Going on planes, hotels, or whatever, whether it's an event or filming, wherever it be, and we've been to various continents.
Where have you been? Where have you been?
I've been to Ireland, which is technically abroad.
Yeah.
I've been to France and Vegas in the United States.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Yeah, I think, trying to think back, I've done bits of Europe, like Sweden, France, Germany, Amsterdam. There was a little trip out to Africa. That was quite an interesting one.
Little?
Yeah, Ethiopia. That was an interesting trip, that one. I think it's always challenging as well when you take certain types of kit abroad and then trying to kind of manage that. And obviously we both went to Vegas. That was kind of our most recent one, which was a highlight. So yeah, I think, you know, anything like that. And I would agree as well, anything that has got actors in, where the projects are more creative and the scope to put on a bigger production, so you shoot it more like a film, you know, where there's budget to be able to do it. I think those projects do stand out, because creatively you can just put a lot more into them. Yes.
Other highlights, well, they're quite big milestones probably for you as well. It's like first moving to the other office that was in
the penthouse.
The penthouse.
From the box.
I was trying to think where it was for a minute.
Yeah, literally the smallest
Hunslet.
box room into the biggest office. I mean, it was so big. Do you remember at one point where I got that thing, that hoverboard, where you could like...
The two-wheel thing, yes.
Yeah, scooting around the office on it.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a crazy time.
And then moving here as well, another big step up, because that's actually owning it and having the freedom to do whatever I wanted with colours, textures, obviously, and putting whatever you wanted in the office. It
was a big move, wasn't it? I remember there was a moment that stands out, and we were sat in here having some lunch. Do you remember?
Yes.
So we took a picture of it, and we were sat on the floor, and all the carpet, we'd ripped everything out of the office, gutted it, and I still didn't legally own the building at that point. So the guy who had it before very kindly let us come in and rip it all out, but we were literally waiting for the paperwork to go through. So it was literally like knocking down walls, ripping up flooring, taking stuff out. There was builders in here. It was like an absolute state. And I was thinking, we were sat there having lunch, and I was like, we don't actually own this building yet. So, but it worked out in the end, didn't it?
Do you remember the moment when you actually did find out? It was when you actually left the other building. Everything was out.
We were literally about to drive
sat
away.
in Subway.
Yeah.
And you got a phone call.
It's like, it's yours, like, yay! You're literally leaving the office to come here and move in permanently.
Yes.
So it was a wild time. But I think having this space is, it's proved brilliant for us, hasn't it? There's plenty of space here. There's room to grow into it as well. And obviously we've customised it, how we've needed it to be, and create little studio areas within the main studio itself.
Yeah, and also it started off with 4 desks. And now there's 10.
Yeah.
Not all of them full, but
no.
You like to
I know, that's the evolution, right?
Yes.
From staff 1 to now. And I think, I almost had a little pinch me moment. It was going back probably a couple of years ago to a Christmas do, and our team was about 5 then, I think. And I thought, you know what, it's that feeling where you get a feeling that there's a sense of growing something outside of where you are. I felt like a real team, a real family, because there was kind of a collection of you at that point, which was quite a nice highlight and moment.
So what's another early highlight?
Probably getting my truck. I remember, so I'm a big one. Do you remember any of the like visualization things that I used to do? Do you remember me having that?
What?
I had like a visualization board.
All right, yes, you could write on. Yeah.
And in the very early stages, I put a truck on there because I was like, well, I can't really drive around in a little car with all this gear. I'm going to need something that's a bit more for sites. If you're driving on the site or you're driving to an industrial estate, because obviously all our clients are predominantly industrial. It's like, okay, well, the truck works. It's a commercial vehicle, but it's obviously transitioning, isn't it, from something you own to something that you then lease, and that being on a lease and there's a spend every single month, it felt like a massive, from where I was at the time, attic, bedroom, box room. It's like, oh, I've got an office now, I've got an office box, that's costs a lot of money per month. You're suddenly like evolving overheads then into your business beyond paying yourself to eat beans for 2 years. So the truck just felt like, okay, let's do this. And yeah, I can remember the day that I got it. It was a beautiful, big, black Amarok. And I don't know, it's funny, because I have a van now, which I absolutely love. And then there was an upgrade on the Amarok that came out after, which was like way better than the black one that was kind of slow and chugged along. But there was just something special about that because it was like the first one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Even though it's like nowhere near as good as the other stuff now, it's got a special place in my heart.
So it's a similar time that we moved in here that we come up with the idea and put into place like a subscription model thing.
Yeah,
yes.
I think it's always something that I guess a lot of businesses look for, don't they? It's that repeat business, and we've always had repeat business because we've always got work from existing clients, and that's sort of catered for probably 70, 65, 70% of our work has always been repeat. But yeah, I think it's more recently, and it's just the way in which content has changed and the natural evolution of communications, particularly post-COVID, because I think that really accelerated everything, is this kind of concept, obviously, that we'd be able to kind of bulk shoot, bulk repurpose, and actually for clients that have ongoing needs when they're looking at things like brand awareness and building momentum with the communications. It's a much better way of working. They get a lot more value out of those assets by it being done in that way. So yes, we changed things, didn't we? We sort of repositioned the business a little bit, probably a couple of years ago. And then I'd say more recently, another big highlight, probably personally for both of us, was that AgCon event that we attended, where we heard Stephen Bartlett talk, we heard Sarah Davies, there was loads of other really, really good speakers. And they, all kind of particularly within our area, our industry, talking about AI, tech, the evolution of communications. And since then, we've repositioned the business again, because I think you've always got to look at the next thing and how you grow and how you bring clients on that journey as well, which is super important.
Yeah, being at AdCon was so inspiring for the whole time we're there.
Yeah,
You've already known a few people, like there's one, Rory Sutherland was amazing as well. And then a lot of talks that we listened to, when you look at it on paper, they're like, oh, it doesn't really necessarily relate much to us, but then you listen to what they're saying, I'm like, oh my God, I can pick 10, 15 things out what you said that, yes, I can relate. I'll pick that out to what we're doing. Yes, and AI was a really big thing. Just generally lots of marketing stuff, and feels like we've changed a lot since April going to there, and very much looking forward to hopefully going again.
Yeah, well, it was so recent, wasn't it? It was only a few months ago, and I think, to be fair, it's kind of re-triggered that feeling of, not that you forget about learning and development, but you get so into the throes of the rhythm of running the business, the growth side of things. Well, yes, you prioritize it for your staff, their individual goals in terms of them growing themselves. You've got to look at the business as well. And it's like, well, how is the business growing? Strategically, what is it looking at? And I think it sort of inspired us, doesn't it, to do a lot more kind of industry events and take more time out to do that and do it regularly as well.
Yeah, and I think that mentality that we have also gets filtered down. Some people have it naturally as well, is to always improve, learn, adapt, and overcome various things all the time. So not just stay still in one particular area, whether that's very technical, apps, AI, whatever it might be. Always learning, always progressing, always getting better.
I think there's all sorts of things like that where naturally you evolve things. I mean, I remember, if we kind of dial back to COVID, I actually think for us, while it was such a challenging time for everybody, and on a personal level and as a business, so much uncertainty, there was a lot that came out of that period, because actually we were a small team at that point, and we had Sam, and he was primarily working remotely, wasn't he, for all of that time? And we were sort of largely based in the office. And out of that grew, well, we started the podcast. That was the first remote podcast that we did. Yep. And we started our skits as well, our sketches. It was just the two of us filming each other, kind of goofing around in the office, because let's face it, we didn't have tons and tons of work to do. And we're kind of like, well, we've got nothing to lose. Why don't we just make some fun videos that we find funny and post them? And actually doing that, we got so much traction originally, didn't we, with that style? It was almost like the office style. It was kind of like a skit, and that really moved our marketing forward, because actually the audience likes this kind of content. Maybe we need to do more of this sort of stuff for our own stuff as opposed to other things we've been doing. Yeah,
we just hoped that people would get it, that we're just being a very over the top, characterized version of ourselves. That's not actually what we're really like. But we found that is over the last few years, marketing ourselves as us is kind of half of it. Because when people get us to do a job, we're the team that's doing it, whether it's a one-off thing or a 1 or 2 year contract where they see us, or certain members of the team, like every month for 2 years. So we're an extension of their team. So they're kind of getting a glimpse into what they're getting, not just with the skits, with the podcasts, quizzes, other behind the scenes that we do behind the scenes on shoots and that sort of thing. So that works really well. I think everyone always mentions it, especially to me, I know you do as well, if you have a call with someone that's like, oh, I saw you did this the other day, or I played along, I've showed my wife your Halloween quiz and she really loved it, this, that and the other. So that's always really good to hear.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because we just did those skits for us. And of course, what happened was more clients started seeing them, and then it opened up doors to be able to shoot that kind of material for clients. You know, and it was the same with the podcast, wasn't it? We sort of started it remotely, and then we sort of didn't do too much with it. And then we bought some new equipment and we started really to give it a proper push the last couple of years. But again, only with the interest of doing it for ourselves. And then that's led into then running podcasts for clients, which was never really the intention, was it?
No. Do you remember those first few podcasts done remotely you were talking about? You, me and Sam, we just binged, was it Tiger King? So we watched all those in like a weekend and we talked about that. We did one about like our favourite directors. We did the A to Z of filmmaking. We went through the alphabet and had to name things that were related. It was quite
That
tricky.
Tiger King was absolutely crazy. But again, it was like topical, so it was kind of trending at the time, wasn't it? So it sort of worked because everyone had so much time to watch TV because no one was doing or seeing or having a life, basically.
And that's carried on now because we still talk about in our own podcast like pop culture stuff, whether it's old stuff, recent stuff, as well as talking in depth about our process of how we film particular things, whether it's filming an induction, filming a convoy and that sort of thing. So we kind of try and mix it up a bit so there's something someone's going to be interested in.
Yeah, and it's nice because we can involve the whole team because everyone obviously has different things that they know about or want to talk about. So, you know, whether it's we're leaning into a bit of football culture or pop culture or animation or film or, you know, anything really where it's just us as people with a natural, genuine interest. It's kind of talking about those things and kind of bringing them to life, I think, is the key. So it feels real, it feels authentic, and then, you know, the subsequent benefit of that is, okay, well, if that then gets traction, then great. Or if that then sparks a conversation with someone else, then great. But it's kind of nice. It's almost nice just to kind of document these things as you go. It creates a bit of a history and a timeline.
Yeah, it's a bit of a technical confession. Maybe some people noticed or not. Doing it obviously on a webcam and just a built-in mic on a computer is not very good, so we got some other microphones that we use, kind of cheap ones off Amazon. But then we realised, they didn't sound very good either, so we kind of cheated a bit by putting our radio mics on those mics and hiding the cables. So the actual, they were just a prop for show. And like you said, now I've got some real proper ones that are much better.
Now we've invested in it, but again, we've had to kind of proof of concept, and it's like with anyone starting out, you can't just go from like basic to like the most premium kit. You've got to try and start small, and I think that's, you know, for anyone starting out, you know, whether they're wanting to start their own podcast. I think the key thing is just talking with the right people, you know, making connections with people and talking about stuff that you're genuinely interested in, that you're passionate about, because that's what makes that piece of content ultimately unique. You know, you're not going after a trend, you're not going after anything to try and tag on to anything else. You just keeping it real between the two of you talking, and, you know, if someone likes it, great, and if someone doesn't, it doesn't really matter. Yeah,
and I think we've figured out over time as well what works best for us and the audience. So the first few podcasts would get 10, 20 views, but I'm like, well, that's still better than zero. And now we'll put shorts on TikTok and other platforms, and they'll get up to, you know, 30 to 50,000 views. So it just shows that we are connecting with some audiences on certain things, and that obviously compounds everywhere else.
And it's momentum, isn't it? It's consistency, and I think that's the key with, it's everything that we talk about with our clients. It is doing small bits, testing, experimenting, as you say, see what works, then double down on what works once you've established who your audience is and what they actually want to know, because they'll tell you whether they're going to engage with it or not. They'll tell you what your audience wants to know, then produce more of that content, but do it in a real way, do it where it's, you know, authentic, and then that way you can ultimately, I guess, build a community around your business. Do you remember our party, 10 years?
Yes, it was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. We got a mix, didn't we? We sort of invited family, friends, some clients. So, I mean, it wasn't like a huge do. We didn't have like hundreds of people here, but there's plenty of people to have a party. We got some food, got loads of drinks. It just felt, for me, it just felt like a really nice way of sort of, yeah, 10 years is very much a milestone moment, isn't it? Because when you start a business, the first couple of years, it's really dodgy. It's really dodgy ground. And particularly going back 13 years, it's not like now where socials have evolved so much, content's evolved so much, AI has evolved so much. Like, everyone's got everything really at the fingertips. This is like going back in the day where I'd have to get up out of bed on a Wednesday morning and get down to my BNI group at God knows what time. It was like 6 in the morning, 6 a.m. on a Wednesday morning to go and talk with people and present your business. I did that for like 5 years. And that was like, you know, that was a proper grind. But I think by doing that, it helped you sort of not hone your presentation skills because you're always learning, but it got you out there networking and talking to people and understanding how to do that and position your business. I actually remember out of those 5 years, there was one moment that really stood out. And for whatever reason, the Mayor of Leeds came one week, and it happened to line up when my presentation was, because everyone was on a slot, as when they had only so many slots a year you could present your business in like a 10-minute presentation. So I had the mayor in mind, and it was a bit of like a little moment. So I was like, oh, no pressure, Mayor of Leeds is here, like, listening to my business presentation. But yeah, I just remember that being quite a cool moment. And the nice thing about that group, even though I'm not a part of it now, there was a lot of peer support. So actually, when you first start in your business, you don't know anyone, you don't have a network, you don't know what you're doing. There's a lot of people there that had either run businesses before, were just starting out, or a bit more established in their business. There's loads of people that you could ask for support from or lean into. So,
is there still people even today that
were involved?
Yeah,
it's kind of like, you know, you've got the networking, you've got like a golf day over here that's very casual, and you've got BNI over here that is hardcore. It is hardcore networking. But actually doing that, I think, it's amazing the power of connection. And actually, funny tip for you, if I hadn't been in that business group, I wouldn't have met my wife, because her best friend knew someone that I knew, and that's how we ended up at the same kettlebell training group. How about that? Nice. For something random? So that's the power of connection working for you.
So all that getting up early and presenting before the business day starts.
It worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And the other thing that we've applied this last year or two is away days.
Yes. The away days. Yeah, I mean, what are your views on the away days? What do you think of them?
I think it's been really good. We've done several so far. It's where everyone in the office literally goes away somewhere nearby, where we'll chat in the van or the car, do some sort of activity, and then have a really, really long lunch kind of meeting to talk through how things are going, plans for the future, and everyone can say whatever they want, and there's no wrong answer, no bad ideas.
Yeah, we've done a few, haven't we? We've done Crystal Maze, we did Go Ape, we did, what was the first one?
The Caverns.
Oh yes, the Caverns, that's it. And we're still waiting to do our fourth one. We're contemplating, well, it depends on you, Thomas, actually. He doesn't like roller coasters. But we're thinking of maybe going to Alton Towers, and that's fun, right? There's always someone that needs to hold the bags, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'll do that.
We're talking the queue.
That's it.
Go on the log flume.
Yeah, there's plenty of rides there for, you know, like...
There's no log flume anymore.
No, but, you know, runaway mine train.
Hey, that's in between of kids and adults ones, yeah.
It's a kiddie ride. Wicker Man, you could go on that. It's just like runaway mine train on steroids.
But completely mental, because it's on magnets and the speed doesn't change.
It's good.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of G-force, you'll be fine. Anyway, but yes, the away days have been a lot of fun, haven't they? I think for me, it's actually quite a lonely place running a business. It's difficult, and while you have support with, you know, friends and family, no one really understands it unless they're sat in your seat, in your position, and carry the same weight and responsibility that kind of carries. So I think for me, the away days are nice because it's a way of bringing in all the team, and it's almost like peer support for me. Even though the idea of it for me is about staff having their say and contributing, the flip side of it actually for me is it's almost like a bit of kind of reassurance in some ways, because people come with different ideas and it's things that I wouldn't have thought of and that they've brought forward, and I thought actually that's a really great idea, and then they've got some ownership of that, kind of moving it forward. So they've been a real positive step, I think, for us and for the business.
Yeah. So now into teenage years, maturing even more.
Yeah, teenager.
Yeah.
Volatile, right? And I think it is. I think we're actually coming into a volatile state now with the business. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's volatile in the early years to establish, and then you get established and you sort of, I don't want to say coast, because I'm not one of those people that's ever coasted. I've always pushed, and each year we've grown. But what I mean is it's felt slower and more comfortable, whereas now I think we've repositioned, we've set our stall quite high. We've been investing quite heavily in the business, in kit and the server, like lots of stuff recently, the website, marketing, we've expanded the team, we've put the resources in, we're leaning heavily into AI and tech, and we're now coming into teenage years, and I think we're going to see bigger swings, we're going to have bigger highs and bigger lows, but ultimately, it will grow year on year, and I think there'll be more bigger challenges. It's like when your kids grow up, right? When they're small, the problems are small, but when they get bigger, the problems get bigger. And I think that's what we're maybe starting to see now. There are bigger challenges, but that's no bad thing. It's just being aware and being ready for those and keep being consistent. Yeah. And you'll get the results.
I mean, the only thing missing now, as we talk about birthdays, is a birthday cake, I think.
Is there?
Yeah.
There's
probably,
a cake?
We probably need one, I'd say.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Oh, surprise. Cute.
What do you think about that?
Whoa, okay. Happy birthday. Okay.
Did you blow it out?
Happy birthday, Shop Glass Media. Here's to 13 years and 13 years more.